If you remember, in this video I was processing this texture onto some cube faces so that they could be spherically mapped seamlessly-ish. And I said at this point, where I was using the kaleidoscope, that you could use Bryce to create this effect, but I didn't want to make the video too long because the process is fiddly. But for those of you who don't have PaintShop Pro 8 or don't have this kaleidoscope filter in whatever paint package you've got, or you just want to use Bryce on its own, which fair enough, then I'll go through for you the steps of setting this up. And I warn you now, it's fiddly because you've got to have pixel perfect accuracy. So I've just launched an empty Bryce scene and I'm going to set the document setup to the size of the images I'm working with. So that's 500 by 500, a 1:1 aspect ratio. And this infinite plane is going to be my perfectly reflecting mirror that I'm using as part of the kaleidoscope. And I'm going to flip that on end and turn it 45 degrees, switch the overhead view, copy and paste, and turn that additional mirror to the other 45 degrees. I'll create a cube and place it on the world's origin because I'm going to place my camera inside that cube to capture a cube face. And to do that, I better find my camera, hadn't I? Yes, here we go, camera settings. So I want origin, so it's in the cube, and a field of view of 90 degrees, and it's got to be correctly scaled, and the value you need here is 72.656 to exactly capture a cube face. And it also wants to be pointing down, so I've only done these tests with it pointing down. So now if I switch to my side view, you can see there's our camera in the cube, the field of view is touching the cube face. Lighting wise, I'm going to go for atmosphere off, set to fully black, and set the ambient to fully white. I would normally turn the sun off, but I'm going to be careful and not use any diffuse in the material I'm going to use on the cube. So I'm going to select the cube, go into the material lab, turn the diffuse down, turn the ambient up, and put in the ambient channel a picture. So go into texture source editor and load in the picture that I'm going to process. So that's the one that's going to be processed. Check out of that. Parametric map will be fine. If we look at actual selection, you see it's put it on the cube face. And a very important step here, remember to turn picked interpolation off because it will cause problems. So deselect picked interpolation, and the reason was given in the other video, but yeah, just do that. Switch the camera view now, and if we render, because the camera is exactly on the origin of where the planes are, we're not seeing the reflection. So what we need to do is select all the planes, and I'm going to move them to give in with to capture the top slightly south. So that'll be north, that'll be slightly south. Right, switch to the render view and render. Okay, you'll see in here that there is a problem. There's this artifact caused by the reflection in Bryce. So it's not going to be just done in one go. This top half, most of it is okay. We just need to eliminate this bit. So if I save this file as T1, and then I can modify this and load that image back in from the file I've just saved. So if I get rid of one of the mirrors here, so let's see which mirror I've got hold of here. Right, so we move these slightly south, so if I get rid of this mirror I can just reflect the top half. So I'll delete that mirror, I'll get hold of my cube, modify the material and load in the one I've just saved. There we go, and check out of that, switch to the camera view, and there's our texture for the top. So file, save as, it'll save it as T2, it'll automatically increment that. We'll go back to T1, I need to capture the other side. So if I select all the planes together, and then go to the attributes and move both of them slightly north, so just get rid of that minus sign, switch to the render, and render that. Okay, so again the artifact, but we can get rid of that. So I'll file, save as, and call this B1. Yes, I guess I've been testing it. It's taken a few goes this to get it just pixel perfect. And then I'll get rid of one of the mirrors again from this. So let's see if I get rid of a mirror. I'll get rid of that one. So just delete that mirror, go back to the perspective view, and then remember to select the cube and load the material in that you want to process, the one we've just created with the artifact in it. Where are you? There you are. Open that, check out of that from the camera view and render, and that's saved our material. File, save as, B2, yes. So the question is, if we go back to our scene that we set up before in the other video and bring these materials in, will they load seamlessly? So that was the one created in PaintShop Pro. We'll now load a new one that we've just created. So that was T2. That's loaded in, and check out of that, and then select the bottom one, material, load this one in. So I'll load a new one in that I've just created. So I need to find B2. There you go, that's it. Check out of that, check out of that, switch the camera view, and let's have a look. Okay, so I'm not seeing any visible seams there, which means I've got it right. Only about the half a dozenth attempt at recording this tutorial and getting it right. So that's good news, because I've managed to keep it short, and that's the end of the tutorial. It's worked, hooray. That's how you can produce the kaleidoscope effect within Bryce, so you don't have to use a paint package.